Robyn Hood episode 7, it starts as the worst episode of all time.
I am not letting you use my public safety resources to build Gitmo.
What? Then gets very weird.
Stick it is.
If you saw that coming, you're a liar. Before ending in the best way possible. This is an absolute roller coaster of a ride that takes me to the edge of my sanity and perhaps past it. This could be perfect television! I may have had a mental break. In fact, I said on Twitter I did have a mental break. So did it get any better, or was I broken down like an interrogation tactic and built back up into directorx's perfect consumer? Well, for that, you're gonna have to make your own minds up, so let's get stuck in. We start with Robyn where she belongs. Prison. Now, admittedly, I don't have a vast amount of experience with prison, but I'm pretty sure that this doesn't happen. She had a bag over her head. Even I haven't said we should go that far. Wasn't even made of paper. Clearly thought they needed something more permanent. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize the camera was meant to be Robyn. I just thought it was badly filmed. But this is dark and badly lit. So used to having the LEDs on the masks light up the background that they didn't think they had to use stage lighting. Why have they sent them to, like, the Mexican cartel prisons? We should all just be grateful that even when they send you to Guantanamo Bay, still get to keep your hoop earrings and necklace on. These are places that take your shoelaces off you. Keep your gold necklace, though, that's fine, love. Look at the people processing them. Where is this prison? Portland? What does he do on the weekend? Rob Banks himself?
Robyn.
LJ?
Why are you so surprised that you've seen each other, apart from the fact that you'd think you'd have male and female prisons? You were on the same bus together. How did you expect to go to a different place? I still don't know why he's here. He didn't do anything. He just unplugged a microphone.
Where's Alan?
Everyone cares about Alan. So I go through life thinking, what would Alan do in this situation? Well, he'd probably positively affirm somebody and be completely non-threatening.
They took him already.
Of course they did. They probably didn't even check Alan. So unthreatening, they didn't even have to bother. Don't even have to lock him up. Just put him in a room somewhere. He'll stay there forever voluntarily. I don't want to break the rules. So they steal all of his gold junk. Probably for the best, mate, that you look less feminine in prison. Wait, no. You can't get away with that. It detects metal. Do you want to know where it detects metal? In his hair. Is that why there's a cutout in his afro? Is he hiding something in there? Has he snuck in a secret laptop in his afro? He just pulls it out. It's the whole case. It's got the booze in it and everything. Starts trading his own empire in the prison cells. That's the episode I want to see.
Where are you taking him?
Just a random guess, love, but I'm assuming it's prison. I don't know how I could have that idea, but you were arrested by the sheriff and then taken to prison cells. I just let my 9th level intellect do the rest from there, really.
Don't say anything. My mind is strong.
Maybe get some advice from your lawyer first, eh? Maybe it's just me, but if someone said, yeah, you'll go free if you just flip on Robyn, I'm like, what do you want to know? I'm an open book. Do you want the rest of them? I'll throw them in for free. I mean, Alan, he's the worst one. You should have seen what he's done. But we go over to the sheriff holding the bow.
Let's talk about a corrupt sheriff's department.
I don't even know what this mayor's doing. You're a corrupt sheriff's department. No, she's actually arresting criminals. I know directorx has said that the sheriff is supposed to be the bad guy, but how? I shouldn't need to ask this question. How is the villain the bad guy? She's arresting the rampant criminals which are destroying the area. They did do the things they've been arrested for. Why is the mayor complaining about it? And she's like, oh, you started a riot in my... There was no riot. The sheriff turned up before the riot started. I don't think she prevented the riot. And the sheriff's like, oh, in the eyes of the public, I'm the hero. Yeah, but I
have enraged parents at City Hall saying that I am not letting you use my public safety resources to build Gitmo.
What? What do you mean, build? I did think the bags over their heads was a weird reference to that. I didn't expect you to point it out. But why would you need to build anything? This is a city. You've got prisons. You've got prison cells. You will have cells in the sheriff's department. We don't need to build things. Why is this the first time anyone's arrested a criminal in this place? What is happening?
This is a weapon. I am allowed to detain suspects on reasonable grounds.
Why are you laughing? Do you realize that a bow is as lethal as a gun, right? It has other downsides, still does a lot of damage. But the main reason why finding that bow is important isn't because of what it can do to people. It's that it's attached to Robyn Hood, who is stealing from everything and has committed multiple crimes.
If I find out that this is not 100% by the book.
The only thing that should be happening with the book is it gets thrown at them. Why are we making the villain come across as the good guy because they're getting oppressed by somebody who has the IQ of a spoon? So the sheriff's trying to satisfy her. Oh, well, you'll have a great photo op.
I should have stopped this after the Tressie Loxley shooting.
Yeah, but you know why you couldn't? Because Robyn Hood kept committing crimes. Why is this so difficult to get into your head? That crimes mean that you get arrested for them. Crime's bad. I don't know why this has to be said to the people of Canada, but crime bad. I feel like I've lost my mind. I'm 2 minutes 45 into this show, and that includes the previously on. But the mayor starts power tripping. Oh, you may have found a sugar daddy, but I'm still the mayor. It's like, oh, no one cares. You're the pissing mayor. And don't come back. So Robyn gets thrown into just these massive cages, and it's like, I don't know about the Canadian or the American criminal system, right? All I know is that's not how this happens over here. We put one person in a cell, and then the next person in a different cell. You know why? They can't piss and talk to each other and get your story straight. Pretty common sense, actually.
We'll be okay, as long as we stick together.
And you can't do that. Maybe having the criminals together for moral support so they can all promise each other that they won't backstab them. Maybe that's not the best idea. You want them to backstab each other.
Yo, hold it down.
Sorry to interrupt.
They're all having a conversation. We should stand by each other, not stab each other in the back. In front of the pissing sheriff. Isn't the whole point divide and conquer, make them paranoid that somebody else may be grassing them up first?
Should have taken my advice and left town.
Yeah, but unfortunately, love, I'm not that lucky. I've got real charges. Robyn Hood is a rampant criminal, and so are a load of people in the other cell. But she says, the Hood are among you, and I'm not letting any of you go until I find out who they are. And I know it's one of you, because I've got Robyn Hood's bow.
Look familiar?
It should do, love. It was in the same room where you arrested Robyn. You arrest Robyn and the rest of the Hood gang in the same room that you find the bow, and at no point in your tiny little mind have you put together, maybe we should question these people first about it. Well, that's just mean. What was that even supposed to achieve?
No one is coming to save you.
You just destroyed evidence, love. I don't think this helps your case.
We be robbing.
Not anymore, bitch. You could have ended the series here, actually. And then they all got arrested and sent to prison for the rest of their lives. And everyone lived happily ever after.
We'll start with an easy one. What's your name?
Do you not know his name? Actually, now you come to mention it, I don't know his name. I know he's meant to be Friar Tuck. I don't know his name in the show. Mind you, this show has someone called Much, so it could be anything.
You have no fingerprints.
Yeah, burn them off in a horrible soldering accident. I was trying to turn my suitcase into a computer.
And I don't mean you have no fingerprints on file. You have no fingerprints at all.
Oh, I'm glad you had to explain that for me, love. It's not as if I'd already worked that out from the statement where you went, you've got no fingerprints. I'm just going to repeat it again for the mouth breathers at the back. As let's face it, if you manage to reach episode 7 of this show, there's a high probability, folks. I'm including myself in that at this point.
There's no record of you of any kind. You're a ghost.
Look at him smirking. He's like, yeah, took a lot of effort, that did, love. I had to delete my Facebook profile. But he says, why am I here? It's an excellent question. At least everyone else, it was obvious that they genuinely committed crimes. He's just been on a computer.
You're like if an empty browser history were a person.
To be fair, that doesn't mean he's a criminal. That just means he ponders life's most important questions. Like, why do so many women end up in washing machines? What did they think they were doing at the time? If you spin it, the socks drop to the bottom. You don't have to shove your head inside looking for them. As you said, you also have some weird accessories under your skin, as well as that laptop you've got hidden in your afro.
I follow a philosophy of radical self-improvement.
I don't know about that, mate. Doesn't seem to have applied to your weight. I mean, how radical are we being here? Normally, radical comes after you've at least mastered the basics. But he starts telling her, I'm into radical privacy and I know my rights.
What rights?
You don't exist.
He won't have been stupid enough to delete his actual citizenship. Okay, judging by his face, he did delete, like, even his basic citizenship.
It's afraid. It's afraid!
The next few years for you are going to be very romantic. So they start throwing in sealed bread onto the floor.
What about water? We need water.
I've got a solution for that, but you wouldn't like it.
Alan, sort these.
I'm on it.
What? Oh, Alan, grow a spine, Alan. We don't need Robyn to go, Alan, can you distribute the food? Yes, these single packages that you got given one each. We don't need Alan to collect them off the floor. People can pick up their own. Oh, please, can we get the most unthreatening man in the world to do all the work for us? Go on, Alan, do as you're told.
Yo, Jamal, can you share that with your boy?
Did you say, how's your mom?
Yo, Jamal.
Oh, Jamal. I thought you went, how's your mom? Yeah, you're gonna get battered.
I've been detained by the beast before, usually with your mom.
I didn't know that was coming. I haven't watched this. She gets backhanded round the face. Don't you talk about my mom. Wait, how many times has her mom been arrested? No wonder Robyn is a rampant criminal. Her mom is setting the most disgusting example in the world. I fully understand why the dad's left. Literally scares them off. I'm not putting up with you and your criminal activities. I'm surprised the kids haven't been taken off her and given to the responsible people. And she starts telling her, you know, one thing that could happen to save us all from this is the Hood couldn't hand themselves in. It's very coincidental that you're saying that to the leader of that gang, isn't it, really?
You ever walk into a room and feel like people were just talking about you?
Well, what I would have done if I were you was stick a microphone in this room so you could hear what they were saying. But then again, I've never built my own Guantanamo Bay, so what would I know about it? So they bring back the hacker and he's just sort of shaking. Obviously, he's been through a lot, especially with the plasters on his fingers.
Breathe.
And at this point, I think we could all realise this is a farce. If you get arrested on suspicion of something, they don't start stripping things surgically out of your fingers. How is anyone meant to take this seriously? This is why people are calling the show a parody. Did you like them next? They obviously think the same's going to happen to them.
Wait. Robyn,
Go on, Robyn. Do the right thing for the first time in your sad little life.
take me instead.
Why?
Black girl magic!
There's room for 3.
Let's go.
So they take all of them then. If you'd gone, take me instead, I'm the leader of the Hood gang, maybe you could have saved somebody from being held accountable for your actions. You evil cow.
Take a walk.
Then we find out they set up speakers next to the cells and just playing music through it. Now, if they really wanted them to suffer, they would have just played the Hood songs on repeat.
This is obstruction, obstruction of justice. Give me that everyone.
Instead, we get this. And then they reenact how I felt every time anyone in the show started singing. Shut it up, it burns! Now, during all this time, and remember, it's been a while, they built an entire Guantanamo Bay. The Gremlin sister is only just climbing out of the air conditioning unit. Oh, look, and she's already got caught. I have no idea why he's not arrested. He does like pineapple on pizza. If it was up to me, he would have been the first.
Jill,
David.
are you okay?
Are you okay? What are you doing in a pissing air vent? It would have been the first thing I said.
Beast scooped up your sister.
We're not going to talk about why she was in the pissing vent. I feel like I'm losing my mind here. That's not a normal thing to do.
Were you hiding in there all night?
Finally! Yeah, why was she in there all night? She could have got out at any time. But she's like, no, hold on, I've got to go get something really important because I can't leave the criminal evidence in the air vent where no one will find it. No, I must bring it with me so that I'm carrying around proof of criminal activity everywhere I go. Of course, she lies to him about it.
What is that?
Valuables, stuff for the raffle. Didn't want the beast to confiscate it, you know?
And he starts carrying it around, having no idea that she has now made him an accomplice to criminal activity. Just goes to show being evil runs in the family. Doesn't care about anyone else but herself. Back over to the thing that's never happened in the history of a sheriff's department. And the suspects are being put into stress positions. He's like, the pain will stop when I get a name. And I mean, are we sure about that? Because I think the pain will only stop after episode 8. Well, here we are. And then in comes this shy woman. She's like, excuse me, I've been sent by the mayor. I'm a doctor.
I have reason to believe that you are violating these citizens' rights.
Oh yeah? And what gave you that idea? Was it the fact that they're strapped to a wall doing stress positions right in front of you? Was that the first hint? I don't know if this episode is worse than normal, or I just have no patience after watching the Marvels yesterday. So she says, I'm here to make sure everything's above board. Like, I don't know, have you got eyes?
What's going on here?
I'm not being funny, love, but what explanation do you think she could give you that would explain doing stress positions on a wall? I gotta be honest, I didn't see that one coming. I at least expected the script to try. I don't know. I should have known better. So they have a bit of an argument. You can tell the mayor it's fine. She's like, I'm not going anywhere until I've inspected it. It's like, you've inspected it. They're right there. What they're doing is illegal, and it's right in front of you. This should be the end of the conversation.
Ensure that your detainees are being properly cared for.
They're in stress positions on a wall.
Did you practice that in the mirror?
So we go back to the cage. It's hurting my ears. It's like, just be lucky they didn't play the Hood music.
Turn this off!
You know how I feel. So while this is going on, the army dude is swapping his bandages on his arm. Like, why? He's literally just gone through this minutes ago. There's no way that needs to be changed. And also, where did you get replacement bandages? You're in a cage. But having seen this, the medic starts interviewing him. He's like, who did this to you? It was the sheriff. He's like, no, it wasn't. This wasn't the sheriff.
Something else, something worse.
It was directorx himself.
Think about your groin area. Think about the bones, flesh, the skin, the organs and muscles.
I only have one question for you.
A monster.
Did he have a disco ball on his face? The man who must not be named or seen.
Oh, he's on drugs.
I bet, well, I mean, Yes, actually. And mealworms. Suppose you'd have to be on one to think the other was a good idea.
Mealworms, you have some beetles, crickets, some grasshoppers.
In fact, he's probably having the time of his life in here, but he doesn't even realize he's in a cage. He's like flying through the mountains on the back of a hawk or something. But then it comes out, actually, it's because he had some kind of internal thing in his system to handle anxiety. And so now he's just really anxious. Strange how radical self-improvement for him doesn't actually mean he should do any work or improve his life or improve the world around him. No, it's just, I should get myself pumped full of stuff, falsely make myself feel better, rather than actually putting in any effort to change things.
He's hallucinating.
It's definitely a reasonable belief. So Robyn starts kicking off at the only person that's going to help them, you know, because she's got such a nice personality. She's really endearing.
I'm sorry. This isn't my area.
You did say you were a doctor in the other room.
I'm a social worker.
No, you're a doctor.
I'm Dr. Kirklees.
She's a doctor. And besides, didn't Portland's best and brightest say that social workers should be sent to this kind of thing? It's a violent criminal. Send a social worker. That'll fix it.
I don't even know what this is.
I've never committed crimes before.
It's a black site, off the record and illegal.
Oh no. Why does a sheriff have a black site? I thought you set it in modern times because it was meant to be more grounded. Who do you think the sheriffs are? I swear, I'm going insane. I feel like I've gone mad and been transported to another reality.
That's, above my pay grade.
You're in the pissing room. How much of a black site is it if the mayor knows about it and then some random doctor woman gets sent in? But then Robyn comes up with an absolutely magnificent idea.
You can't help us, then get us a phone so we can call someone who can.
Who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters? You don't know anyone except other criminals. Also, you are guilty of the crimes you've been arrested for. I'm not really sure how upset I should be about this situation. Now, for some reason, the mayor has gone to visit Richard Branson. Bearing in mind, he's just a businessman that has nothing to do with this.
Sheriff told me I should expect a visit from you.
Because you're a delusional fool. It turns out he's been shifting the bill vote up a week because he thinks that he can get it to pass. He's got all the support he needs. Well, everyone except the mayor. And she's like, I will fight you. I'll stall you. I'll do everything in my power to stop it. Like, why? The criminals have been arrested and we're about to rejuvenate the area. This is amazing.
I will even use my veto if I have to.
You're about to get defenestrated, love. So he walks over to this cabinet and picks up what looks like an iron baby rattle. At this point, I'm like, are you going to beat her to death with a baby's rattle? If so, I'm here for it.
It's the pair of anguish. It was used on women who had relations with the devil.
Houston, I think we found the most base man alive.
Or it was used for stretching socks, in which case I paid too much for it.
I'm not easily threatened.
To be fair, I think what he did was a bit more than just easily. He basically turned around and went, if you don't shut up, I'm gonna do this. You couldn't have done that better if you just put up the Chad meme for 30 seconds. So then she thinks that she's in a position to threaten him instead. This is your last warning. It's like, oh, I'm so intimidated by the short arse. If you wanted to threaten me, maybe you should have sent someone along who could actually look me in the eye. Oh, she even takes a step down. Was she on a box? I hope there's a step in that apartment, because otherwise she's just really small. I need to see the floor of this apartment. So then Branson gets on the phone, calling a TV host. I need a favor from you.
You're Alan, right?
Yeah, you're Alan. You're the only person who's as inoffensive and unthreatening as I am. And so because it's Alan, and he wouldn't like to even kind of maybe cause offense at somebody over there, he just walks off, doesn't even answer it.
If you're gonna give the silent treatment too, just don't say anything and I'll move on.
I don't know if your doctorate helps you understand this, but that's exactly what the silent treatment is. It's also what he was doing. Oh, well, if you don't want me to talk to you, just don't talk to me. I said don't talk to... So she starts trying to say how insecure she is to get him on side. Oh, everyone gives me the jobs that I don't want to do. Oh, it feels personal. I'm a victim, you see, just like you are. Oh, you know you're in trouble when you're trying to have a victim point war with somebody who's literally in Guantanamo Bay.
Things so bad you're hoarding food?
No, he's actually stolen that off other people. What is he doing? Also, how can he hoard food? They were given one each. Give them out, you disgusting peasant.
Making sure everybody eats.
Well, what? Calm down, Disp, calm down. You wanted to make sure that everyone eats. Why don't you give them their pissing food?
I'm a guess. A job no one else wanted.
No.
It's not a job. You were given one each. They threw them on the floor. He's even stealing food from people.
I just know what people need.
They need you to steal their food, do you? You absolute cretin.
A people pleaser.
A people He's stealing their food. This is insane.
Me too. I'm always putting everyone else else's needs first.
Multiple people in that cell haven't eaten because he's a greedy bint.
Truth is, they walk all over me.
I wish someone had walk over him so they could take their food and eat it. So much as reaching for the little stick that presumably she's going to use to pick a lock. And then the doctor comes along and gives her the pick. Really smart, love, really smart. Sure that's not going to come back to bite all of you.
You're Michelle.
No, no one calls me that.
Maybe they should. It's a much better name than Much.
Michelle.
Much. They call me Much.
But why? Your name's Michelle. The shortened version of that would be Mish, maybe Shell. How'd you get Much? A speech impediment. So much as I was saying, even if I answer all your questions, you put in a report that says this is bad and need to be stopped. When are you going to stop it? Today, tomorrow, next month?
Next week while we sit in here losing our minds? ADHD?
Words cannot describe not only the leap of logic that happened there, but oh, look, she's got more victim points. This must be so bad for you. You've got a low attention span due to TikTok. It's like, I don't know what I'd be like if I wasn't doped up. I'd be useless to everyone. It's like, you're pretty useless now, love.
I am not useless. Of course not.
It's a matter of opinion. Really? I mean, has she built the Rocketeer jetpack that we saw in episode 1? Because honestly, I thought we'd have that by now. I'm quite disappointed. This is like Back to the Future. Where's my hoverboard? Instead, what do I have? Self-service checkouts. Wow, congratulations. This scene continues to drag on, and at this point, I would have cut all of this. And Robin's like, if you want to help us, give me a phone. Yeah, just smuggling contraband to the prison system if you want to help the criminals. Now, of course, the response is, I'm not going to commit crimes. I'd lose my job. Now, Robyn, obviously, can't understand going through life without committing crime.
Your job seems deeply fulfilling. You should hang on to that.
Yeah, you should hang on to that. You know, it's really important for life, being able to afford things. It helps so you don't have to steal cars and just rob from people all the time, you scum. Some people have to contribute to society, Robyn. That way they have something for you to steal. That's how they get their things that you want to steal.
You're Tressie Loxley's daughter.
And you, because you sound like a complete scrounger. The moment you opened your mouth, I was like, sponge. I could just tell from the atmosphere around you that you degrade society.
She staged that sit-in at City Hall. We all got the day off.
It's about the only thing a mum can do now, stage a sit-in. Stop ramming her into walls.
It was very inspiring.
No, it wasn't. Somebody sitting on their arse is not inspiring. You know what would have been inspiring? She got a pissing job. Actually tried to make the world a better place, rather than sitting down on the floor moaning her arse off.
Yet here you are, whitewashing the crimes of those who shot her.
Get out, you stupid girl!
Black girl magic! You know the one thing that nobody's surprised about? Robyn's a racist.
I'm impartial. Because this is some kind of friendly debate?
No, it's not a friendly debate. You've been arrested because you're a criminal, and you're where you belong.
I just want to get everyone home safe.
In that case, you should have thought of that before you started committing crimes. I feel like I've lost my mind. This show is evil. It's evil. Why are we pandering to the evil people? The morality is exactly backwards, and I don't know a different definition for that than evil. But she raises a good point. If the HUD just came forwards, we could all go home, because then only the guilty would be punished.
I think we both know who I'm talking about here.
If I was her, I don't think I would. I would have assumed it was one of the blokes, to be honest.
To die.
What? What would ever give you that idea? Surely your first instinct would be the guy in the military in the other room. Like, this is a gang that goes around beating people up, and you've got a guy in the military right there. How is that not your first guess? Why is it this random person that we haven't seen until this episode?
She's close to your mother. The shooting must have driven her to it.
So your logic is she must be the leader because she's close to Robyn's mum, and you didn't at any point think, you know who else is close to Robyn's mum? Robyn! Watching this after the Marvels was a mistake. But at that point, the doctor finally says something of use. Something that's actually true.
When she could end it by just turning herself over.
If only the guilty people actually took accountability for their own actions, then none of the problems in the show ever would have happened. What a surprise. It's almost like we're not victims after all, and everybody in this show causes their own problems and are accountable for their own actions. And she's like, nobody's ever hit me in the face with truth before. Not that she looks particularly impressed by the idea that maybe she should take responsibility for herself and her own life.
Think the Hood should go to jail?
Yes, they're pissing criminals.
Between you and me, they're heroes.
They're scum. Heroes help people. Heroes save people. The Hood hasn't been helping the innocent. They've been persecuting the innocent. Richard Branson's done nothing wrong. They're just jealous that he actually works for a living and so has earned something in his life. So then Robyn decides, I've got a different tactic. Maybe I can stitch somebody else up for my mistakes.
If you're so sure, why aren't you telling the sheriff?
Yeah, if you think it's that person over there, why don't you grass them into the sheriff so I can get off? I have no other definition than evil for this person. person. Surely you'd be like, no, it's not her. She's completely innocent. There's absolutely no way it could be her. And he's like, no, grass them up so I can get off. I'm a hero. I never thought this show would get worse after they went to prison. I'm like, surely that's got to improve everything. I haven't seen this much hatred for the general fabric of society and morality before. Back over at their den of evil, and the sister's on the phone to her mom. Oh, she's trying to get him off at town hall.
She'll handle it.
Yeah, she'll handle it. I mean, if they won't do anything for her, she'll just like wheel over their foot or something.
She didn't happen to live in those caramel oatmeal.
What are you doing? It was at this moment he knew he'd fucked. Her reaction's the best though.
Caramel oatmeal.
Because I thought this was fine. I thought it was normal. I thought every family just had a massive cookie jar full of condoms just in the middle of the room because you're already banging half the city. Every time you leave the door, you just go and grab a handful. That's why they have to be right there, ready at a moment's notice. Now, the more cynical people, and that wouldn't include me, would suggest that the reason you're trying to hide them in a cookie jar is because you know it's socially unacceptable, know it shouldn't be done, and therefore put it in something that nobody would suspect in order to try and maintain some kind of social norms that you're not actually putrid. That's what the more cynical people would say, but that's not me.
Caramel oatmeal cookies.
Wait, no, that's a mistake, no. Maybe we shouldn't have put that in the front room. Anyone could have reached their hands in there. What would Richard Branson have thought if he'd gone in it? Or the sheriff?
That's not cookies.
No. Actually, we can see how full it is by how far he had to reach in. Hang on. That is jammed up to the top.
That's not cookies.
Hey, A+ delivery on the actor.
My family's so embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing, they're just whore. Never considered telling them to keep the legs closed. I'm just wondering, this is preventable.
Everyone thinks that about their family.
Yeah, but most of them, don't have a living embodiment of it in the kitchen for guests to find.
Yeah, right. What do you have to be embarrassed about?
Well, he does like pineapple on pizza. That's enough for anybody.
Every family has secrets.
And my family's secret is that we're all a bunch of whore. Why is this a storyline?
I'm tired of always being the responsible one.
No, carry on being the responsible one, love. I'm pretty sure you're underage. You should definitely continue to be responsible. And so should this show. No, stop it. It's like, oh, you're tired of being responsible, stop it.
Do you want to go get matching tattoos?
Okay, that's a better line than I was expecting. I thought someone was going to have to defenestrate him. So then she comes on to him. I don't know what the laws are in your country. Okay, he's 16, so assuming she's the same, apparently it's fine in Canada. Okay, at least we're not making an illegal TV show. That'd be interesting. But then we cut back to the doctor, and she's trying to embarrass the guard into letting her give them a phone. I need to hand these around. You know what these are for? Yeah, they're generally used as an excuse so I can get a day off work. I'd love to know where you're going like this. He's like, can I just want to check the box? This is, only I can touch these. If you touch these, you'll melt.
Feminine hygiene is a woman's right.
It doesn't matter if it's a right. He wants to check the box to make sure you're not smuggling phones inside it, love. Either way, she gets in, gives them the phone, cut back to the den of evil, and luckily, no one's gotten near the cookie jar yet. We live in hope. Instead, her phone's ringing, and it's Robyn. It's like, we're not in the station, we're in cages, she's hurting people. He only hurt one person. They surgically removed all of his hacking tools. But all I'm saying, if you're ever locked in a black site, maybe don't phone your 16-year-old sister. There's probably someone else who can help you a bit more, like a lawyer.
Who gave you that? You gonna tell me who you called?
I mean, press redial. It's a mobile phone. There'll be logs. You're telling me as a sheriff you can't look up a phone number? Stop dragging people out. And she threatens Robyn, everything that happens to them is on you, which is very accurate considering this is all her fault.
This is bad. This is really bad.
I appreciate your honesty, love. It's just a shame it took you 7 episodes to realize the show you were in.
What about the Hood?
You're an idiot. Like, I thought you were before, but you didn't have to open your mouth and prove it. The Hoods are the ones responsible for all of this nonsense. They're causing the problems. Why would you phone them?
They have to want to help, right?
It doesn't matter if they want to help. They're just criminals who've been attracting the sheriff to your towers. They're in there.
They can't.
What do you mean?
And so to show him, she reaches down, and I don't know if you can... Yeah, you can see it. The mask is in full view. He can see it from over there. Everybody can see that mask. Wasn't it? Hang on, why have you got the Hood masks in a bag? That's weird. I didn't even have to undo it. Have you ever considered a career in YouTube, mate? You do an impressive soy face. This was like, we need to get everyone out of there, despite the fact that th're all guilty of the crimes. He's like, I don't know where they are, but there was playing a song. Wait, what song? What are we gonna do? Hum it into an app?
That's it. Wait, how
Because
do you...
I've been there.
You mean you've been there? You decided to play a song over some speakers. This shouldn't be a song that is like recognized and nobody knows about it. You could have played any song. The entire point of the song was that it was loud. It wasn't what the song was. Oh my. Songs aren't dedicated to places. But he's like, no, I understand because you see, I didn't have papers. Yes, for some reason we're doing this in Canada. How many people go through all of America and think, I'm not stopping until I hit maple syrup?
We're undocumented.
Great, so why are you here then? You should still be in there. Why haven't you been shipped off back to where you were documented?
David.
Go on, love. Call the sheriff on him.
I was 5.
They locked us up because we had no right to be here and we're just criminals. They deported my dad.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, they should have sent you with him, shouldn't they? Are you going to explain that? He's like, your sister's in a really bad place. You see, this is where they keep people who are criminals. Like I was. So then we get something that's utterly deluded, and now he's also in another stress pose. And the sheriff is, at this point, just getting her rocks off, let's be honest. There isn't actually a reason to take your t-shirt off. I'm just admiring the view. She's just trying to get him to talk and flip on the Hood gang, for some reason not realizing that he's part of it.
Shameful, really.
He would have been the first person that I assumed was in it.
How about a carrot? For every name you give me, I'll let you pick someone to go free.
That's such a weird bargain. But when he doesn't give her the answer that she wants...
Stick it is.
Don't want to know where you're shoving that, love. Either way... I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And then, and I had to rewind this because I quite frankly couldn't believe what I'm seeing, and nor will you. If you didn't know this was there's no way anyone predicts this. If you saw that coming, you're a liar. I mean, come on! I already felt like I was losing my mind, and then this happens. I might have had a psychotic break. I'm sorry, but if that other guy met this, if the hacker was like, no, it wasn't her, it was a monster, something worse, and he meant this, why didn't he tell him? No, it wasn't the sheriff that did it. A guy in a rabbit costume did it to me. It's like something out of Donnie Darko. I mean, I wish there was context, but it just comes out of nowhere. He's gonna be like, oh, he's fake laughing again.
They laugh at every line. They laugh at everything because you know it's fake. It looks fake. You're being fake.
He's fake laughing. No one could possibly find this funny. This is a serious show. It's not a parody. Who could think that Robyn Hood was a parody? Why would anyone think that Robyn Hood was a parody? Sheriff's departments always keep a guy in a bunny suit on hand. With an electronic prod. I can understand maybe writing this under the influence. Maybe read it back sober first before you film it. Is he going to get assaulted by a rabbit? I can't. Oh, don't worry, I'm just sitting here rethinking my life. You may be wondering how I ended up in this situation.
I can't take this anymore, man.
You're not the only one. I do have a question, though. Did they cut your arms off? Like, what are you doing? I'm gonna walk around with my hands inside my top. That way I can shimmy like a man. It's like you think it's bad they remove bits out of your fingers. They cut his arm off. But they throw one of the women back in that they took away. Presumably, she wasn't subjected to the rabbit. I mean, she's not in tears. So if she was, I guess she liked it. So then this random person I've never seen before in the whole show goes, oh, he's probably throwing us under the bus. Like, who's this us? You haven't done anything. You're not part of the Hood gang. How could anybody throw you under the bus? Well, except Robyn, who was trying to grass other people up before.
What do you think little John should have done? Murder? Guy gives...
And then, I don't know, she gets an expression like a dog that has just seen a rabbit run past. Quite fitting, really. She's like, oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Maybe the more I get my head on the side, the more intelligent it makes me look. If I keep going like this, I'm going to flip around 360 degrees. I don't know what I'm doing either, but it's better than the pissing show. I mean, if you ever needed an expression of just complete and total ignorance, there you go. Oh? I've never thought of that before.
Do you even know what Lionheart was about?
I don't think she knows her own name. I'd be surprised if she knew what TV show she was on. I can't take this seriously. This is like the parody of a parody.
We have to keep it a secret. Let's just all stay calm.
So then Much starts losing it. I've got ADHD, and so I can't be in prison. Since when was that a thing? Doesn't mean that you lose it. It just means that you don't have an attention span. And she's like, oh, you calling me useless because I can't focus on anything? Then, of course, we get King Simp arrive.
No! Leave her alone!
Shut up, Alan.
I know this may finish me as an acting ensign, but...
Shut up, Wesley.
Shut up, Wesley.
Yeah, shut up, Alan. Even she's telling you to shut up.
I take care of myself, Alan!
Nobody needs your soy injected in here, thank you very much. He's like, oh, I've had an extra dose of nutmeg milk this morning. I'm feeling spicy. And then Robyn says, I want to see the doctor. It's a shame she didn't ask for the sheriff so she could hand herself in.
I'm ready to talk.
If I was trapped in there with that scum, I'd be as well. Yeah, it's all them. All of them. They're just all the Hood. Just give me immunity and just arrest all of them. Get what they deserve. How am I supposed to take this seriously? This seems like a fantasy, I gotta be honest. I've always wanted this to happen. It just seems like projection. Like, deep down, you just want to get arrested, sent into a cage, and have a bunny assault you. Do people think this is standard procedure? Is this what it is? It's like, oh no, you can't get arrested by the Canadian sheriffs. Otherwise, they'll attack you with bunnies. Oh, we get a face reveal. Oh, please, please. Who is it? Is it going to be the cop that shot the mum? I bet it is.
I told you my methods are effective.
What? Okay, you got me on the twist. You got me on... I did not see that coming. I did half wish it was Richard Branson. Maybe even Richard Branson's son. But then you're like, no, it's a woman. I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense, yeah. Only they would think attacking people in a bunny costume was actually scary. Over to the news now, and he's like, oh, it was so scary when there was a riot happening.
R.I.P. Mayor Lee.
P the mayor.
When will woke Mayor Lee actually wake up?
That's gaslighting. That's what it is.
You see, actually, that's just a dog whistle. Yeah, it doesn't actually happen. No, it's just used by people who have some kind of alternate angle. They want to get a message across. It's not actually used as a descriptor. No, it's not actually used in response to an action. I don't know, maybe like this show, right? Maybe like this show. Yeah, maybe this show is the action, and people using that descriptor are just accurately summarizing reality. Actually, it's all everybody else trying to convince the good, moral, upstanding criminals of the world that they're the bad guys. Like I said, you can't convince me this isn't a parody. I mean, it is state-funded propaganda, but at least we knew that before. And now the weird thing is, this news report is going out live, and yet... Well, I mean, she must be Superwoman. She's teleported into his house. Does he not even need locks on his front door? Everybody seems to be able to walk into his penthouse.
Look who's visiting me from beyond the grave.
I think that might have been a little bit funny, but to be honest, I'm still stunned from the rabbit costume.
It's the pair of anguish. R.I.P. Mayor Lee. What do you think of that? That was my idea.
Quite like the rhyme of it, to be fair. I think it'd definitely stick.
You think a little bad press is going to bring me down?
No, with your attitude, I bet you won't go down for anybody.
But a lot of bad press for a very long time has a certain telling effect.
Oof. Oof. Oh, I bet we wish you hadn't put that line in this show now, eh? Is that why there was lots of attempts at shame to get people to stop talking about this show? Quick, we have to get them to stop watching before the guy in the bunny costume turns up with an electronic prod. Make everyone turn off before the victim episode. Last week we had bugs, and this week we've got this. It definitely stepped up as the series went on, didn't it?
God, you really are incredible, Prince.
I thought you were going to call him a prick. I don't know, maybe the insult was just on my mind. I can't work out why. He starts rubbing it in, though, and goes, look, don't you ever care about the act of actually pretending to care about people? Take a leaf out of my book. I've not cared about those criminals the entire series.
Of course you would mistake having principles.
Protecting criminals isn't having a principle. Not unless your principles are all evil. Anyway, you can't convince me you've got principles. Says between the riot and the news report, your only chance to survive is to back the bill. Do what you've always done. Survive. Think of the perks that you could have, the speaking engagements you could do, the best colleges for your children, the best jobs when they come out. It could all be yours, just agree. But then that's supposed to be shaking hands with the devil, but I keep expecting Arrow to burst in through the window at any second and gone, you have saved this city. But in comes the rabbit doctor. I can't believe I'm having to say those words. Like, I won't speak to you. I'll only speak to the bunny. No, I'll only speak to the doctor.
I'm so sorry, Robyn.
I've just been rogering you, man. We'll get you in next. You've got a bonus hole.
I've made everything worse.
You certainly have. I mean, that'll happen with electric cattle prod, to be honest. There's not too many instances where an electric cattle prod makes things better. No, actually, you're dealing with the Robyn Hood gang. No, use away. No, that solves everything. So Robyn kicks off. Maybe I just wasted my time. These people aren't even worth saving.
What? Are you serious?
Well, she's not, but she should be. It is true. She says, I can't be the one everyone looks to. I can't be the leader anymore. You know the rumors about what people really stole from John Prince.
Gold, jewels, millions, any cash.
So the Hood's plan to get out of stealing is to say they stole even more. Awesome. We're actually even worse than you thought we were. And that's a plan that the sheriff knows about it, which is why they're going to all of this effort. And I think I know where it is. You get me out of here. It's all yours. So she gets her out of the cell under the guise of we're going to somewhere private to take a written statement.
The sheriff won't hear us in here over that racket.
Counting on it.
I bet you are. The one thing an interrogator would do is turn their back on a rampant thief. Never saw that coming. This does seem a little bit mean, though. I mean, she can't breathe. Now, at this point, these two turn up in broad daylight in the masks. I don't know what their plan is, but I do know it wouldn't work. He's like, do you have a driver's license? It's like, come on, mate, you can drive. In the Marvels, she might be able to be a fighter pilot, but as long as we're trying to be grounded in reality, you should probably drive.
Do you have a driver's license?
I got my learner's permit on the 3rd try.
You should definitely not let her drive.
It's just a big car. How hard can it be?
Well, apparently for you, very difficult. It took you 3 tries to get it on a normal car. So Robyn ties her up to a chair.
You're undercover?
I mean, I'd love to know where that came from. Although she does just go full Joker immediately afterwards. At least try and lie about it for a second, eh? Like I'm not a cop, that's insulting.
What gave it away? My people don't turn on each other.
What do you mean, my people? What gave me away? My people don't turn on each other without help. And you're like, what? How do your people betraying you give her away as somebody undercover? Those two aren't related to each other.
Who are you?
What is this? We've all got questions, love. None of us are getting answers. And she's like, look, whoever the Hood are, they're not getting out of it. Have you not realised? She choked you out and tied you to a chair. Maybe she's part of the pissing Hood. What other kind of innocent person who's not in a criminal gang would do what she's doing right now? So she starts going, hey, have you got keys to the gate? And the way she hunts for the keys on her is to gently stroke her arms. I know. And look.
That tickles.
I'm just going to pat down your arms. You know, everyone's got these pockets. I always keep my keys up here, I do. This is why I have to show footage of this show, because if I didn't, you wouldn't believe me. If I came along and said, yeah, they hung him from the ceiling, and then the sheriff is sitting on a chair, and a rabbit walked into a room with an electric cattle prod, you wouldn't believe me, and I wouldn't blame you for it.
Don't waste your time.
We're 7 episodes in, love. It's far too late for that. But then Robyn walks over to the cabinet and finds... I mean, can you imagine what she's thinking right now? I just opened a locker and found a rabbit costume. She doesn't know there's a rabbit costume. She doesn't know what the rabbit's been doing. You'd just piss yourself laughing, wouldn't you?
Tuck's monster?
Oh, come on. What is it about a rabbit costume that makes you think, oh, that must be Tuck's monster? When is a rabbit a monster? At no point did he use the word rabbit.
What kind of sick is this?
I mean, I completely agree with you, but you don't know she's been doing anything sick with it. You've just found a costume in a locker and somehow worked out the plot that you haven't seen. Unless you've been sitting there watching everything on TV, you have no reason to know any of this. And she's like, look, you can tell a judge that a cop beat you up, you might get off. Tell him that a rabbit costume did it to you.
Tell him a big pink rabbit did it, your ass stays in jail.
It's actually a pretty reasonable excuse. And I can't believe I'm saying this. That's the first thing in the entire episode that's made any sense. I wouldn't believe him. I'd be like, this is so ridiculous. There's no way that's true. I'm actually genuinely impressed by it. I take it all back. Maybe it's just my mental break. I don't know. I kind of given up.
Trust me, you're not gonna like it if I have to get creative.
Wait, you weren't being creative before when you brought in a bunny costume? I've got to see this now. What's next? You're gonna get Bodger and Badger to come in bringing mashed potato.
Mashed potatoes every day. Bodger and Badger.
But she leaves because the music stops. Walk past the rabbit, who everybody knows who that is now, and she breaks in. He presumably thinks he's about to have some extra special fun time again.
No, get the hell away from me!
To be fair, if he had any sense, he'd be saying that to Robyn as well.
LJ, it's me.
Oh, that's worse. Get away from me, Robyn. I thought it was someone with a cattle prod. I could have survived a cattle prod, but I can't survive your company. That's even worse. So then the sheriff finds her pride and joy with a bag over her head, puts 2 and 2 together and heads back to the cage. They tell her that Robyn went a long time ago, and then she finds...
I said move
him tied up in the toilet, and I'm like, why? Although she loses it.
God's sake.
And we find out, haha, that guard wasn't a real guard. They didn't need a bunny costume after all. That makes these two turning up entirely pointless. I did say it didn't matter what their plan was, it wasn't going to work. Turns out, we didn't actually need their plan to work. They're entirely redundant to the actual escape. So what were they going to do to get them out, we'll never know.
I'm gonna hunt you down. Every one of you.
I'm never going to believe anyone ever again if they say that this show is not a parody. You can't convince me. But of course the sheriff says I'm going to hunt you all down, which should be easy enough. She does know where they live. I don't know why they're escaping. Breaking out of jail doesn't help if you just go back to your home. Anyway.
I can't hear you.
I don't know, maybe you'll hear the judge when he gets wind of this. You've just tied up a sheriff. So then they start playing all the music again. Lock them back in the cage. So they run out, obviously with no plan. Luckily, just completely out of the blue in a total coincidence. Along comes the bus that just drives up to the front with absolutely no plan as to how to get them out. So this bus must drive up and it's like, how on earth did you escape? We didn't know what we were going to do after we drove up to this door.
Are you getting in or what?
Do you mean, are you getting in? Don't you mean, how did you escape this high security prison facility? Aren't you supposed to be in a locked cage? Because I've got to be honest, my plan was to drive a car here and then just sit there forever. So we cut back to the sheriff trying to get over a humiliation, I suppose.
No, am I in trouble? You gonna bust out the ruler on me?
Don't have to sound so hopeful about it, love. Although if it happens, may I suggest going to Robyn's house. Not only can you arrest her at the same time, but there's a jar. Perfect for you. But their theory now is that the Hood wasn't even arrested in that group. And I'm like, what? You don't think the person that may have tied you to a chair may have been the leader of the Hood or anything? No, nothing to do with the gang, no. Instead...
Who else would have rescued them?
Yeah, no one else could have driven a bus, love. Oh, the logic. The logic. So then we cut back to Sherwood and Forest and this really stupid line.
We're safe for now.
Yeah, because the sheriff will never be able to find you at your house. Oh, I'm not even joking. They've gone home. Of course, the daughter wants to join because seeing how incompetent they are hasn't scared her off for some reason.
I'm sorry for lying and for not being there.
Yeah, I'm sorry I lied to you and told you that I wasn't a massive criminal.
It's like, no, you definitely should have kept that a secret, so you actually set a good example for your sister, rather than that you should just go around and be scum.
Taste of that double life today. Harder than it looks.
Yeah, it's so difficult not going to work and stealing off everyone else's hard labor. And as the sister's like, what animal can I be?
A squirrel.
Piss off. You can't bring shame onto the squirrel name, you peasants.
Still, I was wondering if you're hungry.
Don't offer her cookies.
My mom has a lot of leftovers from lying hard days, so...
That was close. I was close. Do you want some caramel cookies?
You earned it.
Committing crime, you earned it. There it is again, the same as that second episode. Yeah, we're not just thieves. We earn things. Yeah, we actually work for it. No, we don't. What are we doing? So later that night, Robyn gets a knock on the door and I'm like, please just be the sheriff. I'd also accept the Joker if the Joker turned up. He'd know how to sort her out. But unfortunately, it's just Little John. He looks as miserable as I feel. And he's like, today was a wake-up call. There's so much stuff in my past I haven't told you about. Please, let me just cry on your shoulder so you lose all respect for me. Luckily, he doesn't actually get to tell her any of the secrets, because she's just like, the cookie jar! You're in my house! In the nearby vicinity of the cookie jar. And so before I can even talk to you, we've got to use that thing up. It's the house rules.
Oh, what's that?
Oh my god. Oh, it's got a special appearance. I was joking. I was joking, you... I was joking. I thought it was over. I thought it was over. And then it gets worse. It just keeps getting worse. This is a never-ending slide of cringe. So I just stopped playing it. We're in Richard Branson's penthouse. He walks out. The music starts playing in the background. And then we get something that nobody needed.
I come in and crash the party. The fun just getting started.
Stop it! There's only so much you can do in one episode, dude. How? How is this one so jam-packed with cringe? What was special about this? If this is as bad as 7 is, what's gonna happen in the finale? Oh, this is gold. Director, I congratulate you. This is gold. I don't care. Whoever thought of this. This is too good. This actor, he's the best thing in the show. He's the best thing in the show. Like, I want him. I just want this guy's series. I want to see everything from his perspective. This casting is amazing. I love this guy. I don't even know who this guy is. I love this guy.
You think it's a game, but really it's not. Show with the force coming.
What a good sport.
You think it's a game, but really the force coming.
The look of shame. It's like, I can't believe you would be doing this. Have some respect for your position, sir.
God, now we got you on the spot like a pot is getting hot. Take your
Wait, is she gonna dance as well? Oh, come on. If she dances as well, I take back everything I've ever said about this show and it's 10 out of 10. I want to see, come on, please, please. It has to happen. Oh, come on. We're so close. We're so close to perfect television. I've never seen perfect television. No, he's pulling out his phone and she doesn't seem to care. Don't stop the music. No, we were so close. We were so close.
You know what
Oh, I'm even more disappointed now than when I started. How did you get on the edge? You were on the edge of perfection. I would have given this show 10 out of 10 if both of them had done it. If it gets a season 2, will you get both of them to do it? Please, I'm literally begging you. That would have been the most glorious thing I've ever seen with my eyeballs.
Do you know this was priceless?
Certainly no one had put a price on it anymore. It's like, it doesn't matter that you couldn't catch the Hood gang. They've got nothing left to fight for. We've already won. She's agreed to vote through the bill, and that means it's mine. So he plays the music again, and I'm like, okay, maybe there's a second chance we get them to dance. Come on. Come on. Come on. He's asking her to. He's asking her to dance. Don't let me down, please. No, she's turning away. Hey. Hey, come on, we're so close. This could be perfect television. It's not over until the fat lady goes down in the elevator.
Frequently.
Fuck! Oh, I could have made it all worthwhile. We were almost there. Over now to the happy couple, and quite frankly, I'm just glad this isn't the sister. Someone knocks on their door like, oh, we've been caught. And Robyn's like, the sheriff can't arrest us for escaping detention. It's like, yes, she can. And then they get an eviction notice. Presumably the bill is passed and you don't own this anymore. And the best bit is he walks up behind her, looks over her shoulder at the letter and says,
What is it?
well, I don't know, mate. Is there any hint that you could be getting from your perspective that could possibly tell you what this letter is? Like the big massive block letters at the top that go, eviction notice. I mean, judging by this letter, I can understand why he was completely confused what it was telling him. And she's like, oh, Prince won. You know what that means? For the final episode, we get to watch them kick out the plebs. I thought they'd go to prison, but for some reason in this world, escaping prison isn't a crime. I don't know why. I don't know why. But it's not in this. So unfortunately, we won't get that, but at least we get to see them defenestrated. It's gonna happen, folks. I have faith. I've seen Richard Branson dance. I've seen a teddy bear come at somebody with an electric kettle prod. And if that doesn't teach you that in this show, anything is possible, the most funny event will happen. The gloves are off, the rabbit costumes are coming on, and next week, the sheriff is gonna dance. I hope and pray. So please come out there and pray to whatever god you worship that next week we might be able to have classic, perfect entertainment. I tell you, this episode was hell to get through, but boy, did it cheer me up at the end. Those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.